The boots are sitting in the center of the ring, bathed in a single, cold spotlight. They are frayed at the edges, stained with the sweat of 30 years and the blood of a dozen different countries. But look closer at the man walking away from them. AJ Styles isn't just walking toward a curtain, he is walking away from his soul. His shoulders are slumped, not from the weight of his age, but from the crushing weight of a secret that has finally broken the phenomenal one. You saw the tears, you saw the way he kissed the turnbuckle, and you saw the way his hands trembled as he untied those laces for the very last time. But what you didn't see was the conversation that happened in the trainer's room 3 hours before the bell rang. You didn't see the medical documents that were shredded in a trash can backstage. Tonight, the real story finally comes to light, and I promise you, by the time this video ends, the way you look at AJ Styles and the way you look at this business will be changed forever. This isn't just a retirement, it is a tragedy that was hidden in plain sight. Before we pull back the curtain on this devastating revelation, I want to take a moment to talk to you, the SLAMZONE family. We've been on this journey together for a long time. We've cheered together, we've argued together, and nights like tonight, we mourn together. Wrestling isn't just a show, it's the heartbeat of our lives. If you've ever found strength in AJ's resilience or felt your heart race during a Styles clash, then you know how much this hurts. We are more than just a channel, we are a community that looks out for one another. If you could, please, take a second to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video. It helps us keep the lights on and keeps this family growing during these emotional moments. Your support truly means everything to me, and I can't thank you enough for being here with us today. The energy inside the arena on January 19th was suffocating. It wasn't the usual big match feel. It was something heavier, something darker. You could feel the energy in the rafters, a low, vibrating hum of 20,000 people who knew they were witnessing the end of an era, even if they didn't want to admit it. When the music hit, that iconic Get Ready to Fly remix, the roar was deafening, but it was tinged with a desperate kind of sadness. AJ Styles walked out, and for the first time in his career, he didn't look like a god. He looked like a man who was carrying the world on his back. The match itself was a masterpiece of brutality. AJ wasn't just wrestling, he was fighting for his right to exist. Every chop he landed sounded like a gunshot echoing through the silence of the crowd. Whack! The skin on his opponent's chest turned a deep, bruised purple within minutes. But every time AJ landed a blow, he winced. If you watch the footage back closely, look at his eyes at the 4-minute mark. There's a moment where he misses a clothesline and his face contorts into a mask of pure agony that had nothing to do with the move he just missed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where legends are made. In the heat of the fire, where the body says no but the spirit screams yes. AJ climbed the turnbuckle, his legs shaking, the camera catching the beads of sweat flying off his hair. He went for the 450 splash, a move that has defined his career, and as he soared through the air, time seemed to stop. He hit it. The impact was sickening. You could hear the thud of ribs hitting canvas from the back row. 1, 2, but the kickout came at 2.9. The crowd let out a collective gasp, a sound of pure disbelief. How was he still standing? How was AJ Styles still pushing forward when his body was clearly failing him? The reversals were lightning fast, a reminder of why he's called phenomenal. He countered a powerbomb into a sunset flip, his muscles straining under the weight, his teeth gritted so hard you could see the veins popping in his neck. But then came the moment that made everyone's heart stop. AJ went for the phenomenal forearm. He launched himself off the top rope, a human projectile, a man who has flown a million times before. But mid-air, his body gave out. Not because of a hit, but because of a mechanical failure of the human frame. He crashed into the ring, missing his target, and stayed down. The referee rushed over, his hands hovering, ready to throw up the dreaded X. The silence that fell over the arena was terrifying. You could hear a pin drop. Then, slowly, painfully, AJ began to crawl. He wasn't crawling toward his opponent, he was crawling toward the ropes, using them to pull himself up like a man trying to climb out of a grave. The crowd started a chant. It started low, a whisper in the front rows, and grew into a tidal wave of sound. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, AJ. He made it to his feet. He took one last, devastating finishing move, a move he could have easily reversed 10 years ago and let the 3 count happen. 1, 2, 3. The bell rang, and the reality set in. The career was over. But as the light stayed low and the cameras stayed on his face, we saw something we weren't supposed to see. We saw AJ whisper 4 words to the referee that were never meant to be picked up by the ringside mics. He said, "I can't feel them." I need to pause for a second because just talking about this makes my throat tighten up. If this story is hitting you as hard as it's hitting me, please, hit that like button, subscribe to SLAMZONE, and join the family for more intense wrestling breakdowns every week. We're about to get into the real story that the office didn't want you to know, so stay with me. What a moment. What a heart-wrenching, soul-crushing moment. After the cameras stopped rolling and the tribute package finished playing on the Titantron, the truth started to leak out of the locker room. The real story behind AJ Styles' retirement isn't just about getting older or spending time with family. That's the corporate version. That's the version they put on the press release to keep the stock prices steady. The truth is that AJ Styles has been wrestling with a degenerative spinal condition for the last 18 months. He was told by 3 different specialists in late 2025 that if he took one more high-impact bump, he risked permanent paralysis. He was told he should have retired after WrestleMania. But AJ, being the warrior he is, refused to go out on a doctor's note. He wanted to go out on his shield. He kept the diagnosis hidden from the fans, from the writers, and even from most of his friends in the back. But why January 19th? Why now? The secret reveal is that the WWE medical team finally caught him. They found a set of private x-rays that AJ had been hiding under a different name at a clinic in Georgia. When Adam Pearce and the board saw the state of his vertebrae described by one source as looking like shattered glass, they gave him an ultimatum: retire tonight, on your own terms, or we will strip you of your license to compete and escort you out of the building. AJ was backed into a corner. He didn't choose to leave, he was forced to choose how he left. That's why the match was so brutal. That's why he took those risks. He knew it was the last time he would ever feel the canvas beneath his feet. He wanted to prove to the world and to himself that he was still the best, even if his body was a ticking time bomb. The most emotional part of the real story? His family was in the front row, not because they wanted to celebrate his career, but because they were terrified. If you look at the footage of his wife and children, they aren't cheering. They are crying. They are praying. Every time he took a bump, they were watching a man gamble with his ability to walk for the rest of his life. AJ Styles didn't retire for himself. He retired because he realized that if he did it one more time, he wouldn't be able to pick up his kids ever again. It's a story of ego, sacrifice, and the terrifying reality of what these athletes put themselves through. We call them superstars, we call them legends, but at the end of the day, they are flesh and bone. AJ Styles spent 30 years giving us every ounce of his soul, and in the end, the business almost took his body too. The real story is that AJ Styles is a man who loved us more than he loved himself. He was willing to risk everything just to give us one more phenomenal forearm, one more Styles clash, one more reason to believe that a kid from Georgia could conquer the world. As we look back on the career of AJ Styles, let's not remember him as the man who was forced to quit. Let's remember him as the man who refused to break until there was nothing left to give. He walked away on his own 2 feet, and in this business, that is the greatest victory of all. Before we go, I want to hear from you. What is your favorite AJ Styles memory? Was it the debut at the Royal Rumble? Was it the wars in TNA? Or was it this final, heartbreaking stand? Let's fill the comments with love for the phenomenal one. And please, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to SLAMZONE, and join the family for more intense wrestling breakdowns every week. Your support means the world to us, and it's why we do what we do. We love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. AJ, if you're out there watching, thank you. You truly were, and always will be, phenomenal. This is SLAMZONE, signing off.